Thank you, Dr. Gurveer. So it's my honor to welcome my dear friend and our today's resource person, Dr. Naresh Singla. Dr. Singla is currently working as assistant professor in economics in the Department of Economic Studies at Central University, Bachinda. He has a total experience of more than 12 years in teaching and research from various prestigious institutions of India, such as IIM Ahmedabad, National Dairy Development Board Anand, National Center for Agriculture, Economics and Policy Research, New Delhi, and Institute for Economic Growth, Delhi. He has published about 40 research papers in various national and international journals and books. He has successfully guided 3 PhD and 17 MPhil students under his supervision. He is currently working on a research project restructuring in agri-food markets in India, impact on primary producers and workers under Impress ICSSR. So we are really proud that he has spared time out of his extremely busy schedule to interact with our students. Dr. Naresh, I want to share with you that a total of about 100 students of BTech Dairy Technology of our college will attend today's webinar. I welcome all the participants to this webinar. This is very important topic as COVID-19 has affected all the segments of the society, and dairy is not an exception to it. So it will very useful webinar. We will know what are various factors under which the COVID has affected our dairy sector and what are its solutions. So listen to this webinar very carefully. And if you have any query, you can post in the chat box, and you can interact with the speaker in the question and answer session. So now I request Dr. Naresh Singla to kindly deliver his talk on impact of COVID-19 on dairy sector of India. Dr. Sir, please you can share your screen now.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Screen वो कर दो sir. Slide show.
Is it fine?
Right, sir. Right. You can start.
Good morning to dear students as well as my dear colleague Dr. Vrinder Pal Singh, Gurveer. It's an honor to be here and to speak on a very important and relevant topic on this COVID-19 and its impact on dairy sector in India. I'm really grateful to Dr. Vrinder Par for giving me this opportunity to interact with the students. It's just like, I always feel just like Gadwasu being a part of earlier the part of PAU Ludhiana and all that. Just like feeling homecoming. It's really honor for me to speak on this topic. So at the outset, I will say that it's a very important topic of discussion, and I was just really thinking in the morning that all of you, including for faculty and students, you are really engaged into the dairy technology and all those sort of learning, teaching and learning process. So I thought that शायद सूरज को दिया दिखाने वाली बात ना हो जाए कहीं, because I largely belong to economics discipline, and within that I largely work in the area of agricultural marketing and restructuring in agri-food market, as mentioned in the introduction. But still, I will try to give my best on this topic, which is very important to understand in the contemporary period. So. So basically, the entire presentation will flow through two ways. There are two parts of this presentation. In fact, because as the title specifies, that impact of COVID-19 on dairy sector of India. So before I delve into the detail of impact of COVID-19 specifically on dairy industry, so I thought it's at this point of time it is really important to look at some of the aspects of dairy sector in India as well. Then I will try to relate that dairy sector with the impact of COVID-19 on this particular sector. So there are two components with that. Which just as from structure point of view, this presentation I have arranged into two components. So I really thought in that way that it may not, I may not be able to justify the topic by straight away talking about the impact of COVID-19 on dairy sector on India. So I just briefly split into two categories. Then the last one will be the specifically the impact of COVID-19 on dairy sector in India. So before, as I mentioned, before I really go into the detail of this particular COVID-19 and its impact, so it's very important to know the role of dairy sector in the national economy. And as a student of this, dairy technology and and all other allied disciplines, it's very well-known fact that uh, agriculture sector in India is a major source of livelihood for majority of the population, and we used to say that about 50% of the population is directly or indirectly engaged in agricultural and allied activities. And whenever we say that agriculture and allied activities, it includes each and every activity which is directly and indirectly related with the agriculture sector, just like dairy, fishery, poultry, and all those horticulture, vegetable, each and every activity is a part of the agriculture and the allied and its allied activities. And at the same time, it is also very well known that within agriculture sector, livestock is a very important sector, and you all know what is livestock. Livestock basically includes not only the dairy sector but also about poultry, egg production, meat production. Each and every activity comes under the livestock sector, and within that, dairy is a very important sector which plays a very significant role in the agricultural development in India. And since ages, it is very also very well known that the dairying activity is not a single activity. It used to take place under the cropping activity. It is combination of both, and we used to characterize it as a production system where there is the mixed crop and livestock farming, and livestock sector, it used to complement the farming income. And for generally we take the farming income as a primary occupation, and the livestock occupation is taken as a secondary occupation, and they are used to complement each other in the process of the production system. And also it is crop farming, we used to say, it is used to subjected to various types of risk, just like production risk, market risk, crop failure and all that. But at the same time, dairy farming is such a enterprise which provides a regular flow of the income. It is not only the flow of the income which is quite irregular, but also to the millions of the small farmer, marginal farmers, and the landless ones who do not have any piece of land for cultivation. It is a major source of occupation for those small peasants as well as to supplement their income. So this is one of the major enterprise. Dairying is a major occupation which is plays a very significant role in upgrading the rural livelihoods. And at the same time, just for your information, a few numbers I have just added here that, and this is also very well documented. It's not something which is I'm stating from my side, and you will know that the share of agriculture sector in GDP. And if you are not, from that economics or agriculture economics background, GDP generally, just for time being, you can put it as a income, in national income. The share of agriculture sector in national income is declining over a period of time. Means the total income which the country is India as a country generating, within that the share of agriculture sector has been declining over a period of time. But within, as I said, agriculture sector is not a single activity. There are subset of activity which used to take place under the agriculture sector, and within that livestock sector is a very important sector. But although the share of agriculture sector in the national economy is declining, but share of livestock sector is is, has increased over a period of time. So this will just reveal that how much importance is this sector for the rural economy, that currently it is around 26%, means more than one fourth of the income within the agriculture sector is contributed by the livestock sector alone. If we keep aside all other crop income, horticulture, and all those different subsectors of agriculture, core sectors, the contribution of livestock sector is more than 25%. And within livestock, because largely this is about impact of COVID-19 on dairy sector, and within that you will find that within livestock you will find that the share of milk group in the livestock sector is staggering at 67%, which is of the very high order. 67%, that 33 is contributed by meat, poultry, and egg production and all that. 67% is the contribution of the milk group. So from that point of view, the dairy sector contributes a lot to the development of the rural economy. And also you will be knowing that the milk production, the current milk production in India stands at somewhere around 188 million tons, with per capita availability of milk as high as 394 gram per day. I'm just giving you the background of the dairy sector. Then obviously the point of discussion will revolve around the COVID-19 and all that. Okay, and this milk production is comes through the production of the milk from the millions of these small farmers and landless milk producers who contribute significantly toward the production of the milk. So this is the importance of the dairy sector at micro level, at farm level, as well as at the national economy. And this particularly the development of dairy sector has also received a due attention in due course of time. Okay, though when we talk about the agricultural development in India, we used to many times fail to segregate dairy sector from the agriculture sector. Sometimes it is taught as such as a very miniature part within the agriculture development, but this sector has so far, even despite being so many attempts, which I will also make a brief mention here, that milk markets they remain quite underdeveloped in the case of India, largely because milk marketing is largely handled through the unorganized milk markets. And as a not only as a student, but even as a from layman point of view, we know that how we are getting the milk at our house, in our houses. Some दूध वाला आता है, we used to collect milk, and some vendor and milkman, they are collecting milk from here and there, and we used to get the supply of the milk on the regular basis. So what I mean to say that milk is largely handled through the unorganized milk markets, which are largely dominated by the private milk traders, and which includes vendors, milkmen, and all that. And at the same time, we also know that as a consumer also, we know that in these channels there are numerous intermediaries, large number of middlemen are involved. Quality of milk that reaches to the ultimate consumer is also very poor, and price realized by the milk producer is also remains very low. So that means this kind of development of dairy markets or milk market is quite underdeveloped, and there exist the numerous problems with respect to the development of the milk markets. And the point which has to always keep in mind that about 70% of the milk is handled through or retailed through these unorganized channels. 70%. And what about 30%? That also plays a very significant role. That will also briefly I will explain that. So this is the volume of the markets of with respect to the dairy or milk in India market. They are underdeveloped, they are largely unorganized, and the milk marketing used to take place through the numerous intermediaries. Large number of middlemen are involved, and the quality of the milk which as a consumer we get, it is very poor. And sometimes many of us belong to middle class family. We used to say that I'm willing to pay at least maybe 50 or 60 rupees per kg per liter of milk if someone can give me the good quality of milk. So this is the problem which is there with the milk market. But at the same time, realizing these sort of problems into the existing market structure, market of the milk, there was the systematic attempts were made from the very beginning to develop the dairy sector of India. And many of you may be knowing about the development of the dairy cooperative system in India from the very grassroots level. And the initial attempt in this regard, it was made in the Gujarat, where the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Market Federation Limited was established. And before that has actually long history of development, but I will not go into the detail of that. Under Kara Milk Union in the Gujarat, initially it was established under that. Later on it expanded it into GCMMF. So ultimately what happened that in Gujarat, there was the establishment of the milk collective centers, milk collection centers, which were started to procure milk from the villages, and a certain number of farmers, they were attached with them under that cooperative. So later on that milk was retailed through the collective efforts. And when this system was established, there were provisions were also made with respect to the technical input services regarding how to use the inputs for raising the dairy animals and their health care, and also with respect to their various breeding practices that are to be adopted. So what I mean to say that parallel to the traditional market, there was the emergence of the cooperative system, and this under the Operation Flood program, which has transformed the entire landscape of entire rural landscape under the ambit of this development of the cooperative pattern. And you might have studied through and how the attempts were made under by the Verghese Kurian and all that. So this was a very systematic attempt to develop the cooperative system, and under this system the price of the milk, instead of randomly arbitrarily deciding the price as it prevails in the unorganized milk market, the price of milk started to be determined on the basis of the fat content or SNF basis. So this was a kind of system which has started to develop or started to adapt over a period of time, which has to be parallel to the unorganized milk market. This has actually really started to take the shape, and this is just the Amul pattern, and you all must be familiar with that. This type of transformation, it has given rise to three-tier structure of the development of the cooperatives in the country. As I said, it was initially started with the Gujarat model, then that cooperative system slowly expanded to all parts of the country. And it has a three-tier structure. At village level, there were the village dairy cooperatives who were procuring the milk from its members, from which are localized in different areas. Then after procuring the milk, it was assembled, collected, and it was transported to the district milk unions, where it is, you might be knowing it, how they process the milk processing part. You all know much better than me, through the bulk milk coolers and all that. After the processing of the milk, it was the retailing part, sales part, or all those activities, they were done through the state milk federation. At the village level, at this grassroots level, it all the technical inputs, veterinary services, all those things, they were provided to the farmer, which actually improved the quality of the milk. It also resulted into the better price for them, and also some bonuses that were linked with that, they started to that. So it was exactly transformed the lives of the people, and it started with the Gujarat model. And it is also, even if you go over there, it is working quite well. It has transformed the entire landscape of the rural villages in Gujarat, and slowly this system expanded to the other parts of the country. And why I'm sharing it, the reason to share with this information with you is that this is something which I always feel is largely missing. It's not that much working in that way, particularly in the case of Punjab. And these are the some of the pictures which from the same Amul pattern of development, which were actually taken by me when I as mentioned by Dr. Vrinder in the introduction about I worked for some time in National Dairy Development Board. There, as a part of our training in the beginning, they take us to that cooperative society in the village, and they said there we have to stay for 1 week. And what some of the things which were very surprising for me as a you can say as a student of this learning process, I found that because we all know that in a village there are many people who are obviously living in the village, and out of those some are having milch cows who are uh, rearing cows and buffaloes, and they are supplying certain quantity of milk to the Amul. And also we know that in the village there are some people who do not own, who do not have any cow or buffalo, but still they need milk for their to meet their household needs. And what I found that you will find that on the top right hand side there are sorry on the top right hand side you will find that a woman is pouring milk into a utensil. This is a woman farmer who is supplying the milk to the this society. And immediately below that, on the right hand side in the bottom, you will find that certain women, they are also standing in the queue. Even from the left side, some certain utensils are kept in the line, and there on the right side you will find certain women are also starting to get the milk. And you will be wondering to know that these are those women who do not have any cow or buffalo in their home, but they still need milk. So in such a scenario, what could be the possible outcome that these women could have gone to the houses of those people who have the milk or cow, but these those people who are attached with Amul, with this Anand Milk Union, with this cooperative system, they deny them that milk, that whatever milk we are getting, we will be only supplying to the cooperative. If we are supplying directly to you as a consumer, so this will be the breach of trust with that Amul, with that cooperative system. So they do not supply the milk directly to those consumers. So if they need certain quantity of milk, they have to get it through the at the cooperative society only. This was the kind of trust which was not developed in overnight, but it takes 3-4 decades to develop this type of pattern. But this pattern is working quite well, and it has really transformed the lives of the rural people. So this was the one part of that. And obviously this type of cooperative system, as I mentioned, of milk procurement and retailing, it slowly started to expand to the other states of India. Just like in Punjab you will find Verka, in Haryana also you will find some other cooperative society, in Rajasthan you will find some cooperative society. So they are working on that principle of cooperativism. And at India level, the system of cooperative societies has developed to such a large extent that there are the 1.9 lakh village dairy cooperative society, which has a whooping membership of about 17 million milk producers. This is the extent of the membership. About 17 million milk producers, they are supplying the milk through the cooperative system. And very unique feature which has to always keep in mind with respect to as a student of dairy this technology, you have to keep in mind that this a very unique feature of this dairy cooperative development in India is with respect to the participation of the dairy women farmers. The participation of dairy women farmers in this system is about 5 million. Out of these 17 million milk producers, 5 million are the women farmers. And we know that the cow or buffaloes, they are generally kept in backyard or near to adjoining house and all that. So there the women, instead of they cannot do hard work in the fields for cultivation of crops, so they used to manage the cattle and buffaloes. So This is a whooping number which contributes significantly to the development of the dairy sector in India. So this is the transformation which has been witnessed with respect to the development of the dairy sector in India. So what, and in nutshell, what I wish to say that this, there is development of parallel market. One is, as of now, the unorganized milk markets. Still, as they are handling to the, still they are dominating. They are handling 70% of the total milk is retailed through unorganized market, but this cooperative system is developing slowly and very rapidly. It has taken about 30% of the total milk is generally retailed through this cooperative system, and the government is planning to increase its capacity over a period of time to remove those kind of the problem which I just mentioned in the working of the unorganized markets. Now, coming to the this having said about this type of agricultural sorry, the dairy development in India, this type of dairy structure and establishment of dairy industry in India, it's uh, relevance with COVID-19. We have to look into the details of that. That's why I said that instead of straight away talking about COVID-19, impact of COVID-19 on dairy industry, we need to have a little bit idea about the nature and the structure, and about little bit about the transformation that the dairy structure has, the dairy industry has undergone over a period of time. Now you will find, you all know that the milk is a highly perishable. Milk is a highly perishable agricultural commodity. And even if we talk about the demand and supply of the milk, it is very volatile. It always remains volatile. Even if we talk about the pre-COVID-19 period, even at during that period of time, the demand and supply of milk, they used to remain quite erratic in nature. They are quite fluctuating. Okay, obviously the demand for milk and milk products is, you know, ever rising, is increasing over a period of time, because of this it is influenced by many factors, such as, you know, rising, increasing urbanization. There is more and more urbanization. Okay, and there is, and more importantly, there is increase in dietary consciousness among the consumers. Okay, as a as people, they are becoming more aware about diet and various other nutritional practices. They demand for uh, they have preference for low fat milk, and also some certain other factors like a rise in income. So those, all these factors, they are having huge impact on the demand, which is increasing over a period of time. But at the same time, the supply of the milk, it is also affected by many factors. It also used to be affected by many factors, like type of bovine, type of milch animals, whether they are more fertile or less fertile, whether there is milk giving capacity is more or less. Similarly, quality and cost of feed, they also determine the volume of production, availability of the credit, how much credit a milk producer is able to get from the different sources, and also importantly, the health and breeding services which which a milk producer is having access to that, and the availability of the livestock markets. So these factors are there which used to affect the supply of the milk. So there is always kind of even we say that we are producing 188 million tons of the and milk, and we have the huge per capita availability, but it is still constrained by many factors, supply side factors, and also on the demand side there is mismatch between demand and supply. So even in the pre-COVID period, you will find that the demand and supply of the milk, they used to remain quite volatile. And now we all know that the recent in the 1 year and so, in the more than 1 year, I exactly, that this COVID-19 pandemic, it has spread all over the world, starting from what the people or scientists used to say, from the Wuhan lab to all other parts of the world. It has spread so quickly, and and the impacts are, you know, effects are quite wide reaching impacts, just like death rate and all that in country like Italy and many other European countries, including USA, it has resulted into huge death rates. So fearing these type of things, even the country like India, they had to impose a lockdown and very stringent measures they have to be adopted. Just like in the case of Punjab, you maybe knowing that there was the imposition of curfew, as much you cannot even move out during the curfew. This was done to prevent the spread of the COVID. So when this type of system is, this type of lockdown or curfew is imposed into the economy, what it will result? What will be its impact on the wider sections of the society? You will find that there will be the disruption with respect to all the economic activities, all the economic activity, production of goods and services, each and everything is disrupted once this COVID-19, once there was the imposition of lockdown and curfew in the country, it has disrupted all the economic activities. But also importantly, this COVID-19 kind of lockdown, it was quite unique, as it has affected both and supply and demand. On supply side also, on demand side also, it has affected. And it was argued, and which I will be discussing in much greater detail, how it has affected demand and supply with respect to dairy sector. So it was argued that the disruptions in agriculture and allied sectors will be disastrous for the country like India. It may be, when it started at that point of time, it was seen as a disaster, that it will disrupt it will create particularly the agriculture and allied sectors activities. And it was, the point in the fearing thing was that as I mentioned on the first slide, that huge proportion of the population is depending on the agriculture and allied activities for their livelihoods. So there were growing concerns among the policymakers, among the think tanks and all that, that it is going to cause serious disruptions in the agriculture and the allied sectors. So now, since we, we're more interested in finding out the dairy industry, we have to look into the uh, the different aspects, how it has actually impacted the dairy sector of India, the COVID-19. Okay, so once this COVID-19 was, started, it has, with respect to, specifically talking about the dairy sector, there was a sudden drop in the demand for milk. There was the sudden drop in demand for milk. And because the sale of dairy products was declined significantly, and you all know that why it has declined, that because of the health concerns. And you may be knowing that once the prime minister, decided the lockdown, how that whenever we, go to market to buy fruits and vegetables and some other products, people have to stand in queue and all that. Even if you are two or three people, they are, talking to each other in the line. Other one, maybe fourth or fifth one, was saying, please don't talk, don't come close to each other, it may cause corona and all that. Okay, so because of health concern, even we are fearing to touch the products, and we are fearing to even entering in the shop. We are, try to open the door with our, knee, with our leg or something like that, or with our elbow. We were trying to open it. This was the kind of fear factor. So the sale of dairy products has also declined due to health concerns, reduction of the income of the households, because of the many people who was generating certain income through certain different means, it has declined. Migration of the labor to their home states, and also the closure of the sweet shops and different eateries, they were closed down. The sale of the dairy products was largely impacted in the very beginning. And this, and particularly milk producers, they were also impacted, particularly small milk producers who were supplying milk to the unorganized vendors, which I just explained in the very beginning. Okay, unorganized milk markets, they suffered more. as they has to dispose of their milk, they have to sell their milk at a lower price even than the cost of the production. They were not, because those vendors, they were not able to come to the market to sell the milk, so they were not purchasing the milk from the milk producers. So in that case, if many of you may be knowing that in the villages, the people, either they were keeping the milk at home or giving it to in the neighborhood, or they are converting it into some milk products and all that. So this is kind of situation which they were, what I mean to say, they were able to get certain income by supplying milk to the vendors. So that has gone at that point of time. But there was a few others who were selling milk to the cooperatives, and those did not suffer as much as were suffered by the milk producers who were supplying to the unorganized vendors. They were still little bit of better off as compared to the unorganized vendors, but the cooperatives also faced certain difficulty at that point of time, but they were able to overcome in due course of time those difficulties. So cooperatives faced difficulty to handle additional milk procurement, so their procurement has also increased because the many factors. I will also make a mention of them, because of the increase in the milk supply, and also the demand which has to be the demand which has to absorb that supply, that was also not coming. That demand has also already declined, which I mentioned. There was also on the supply side, there was the increase in the milk supply at the cooperative level also. The supply was, because you will find that in the village, if you will find many milk producers who are supplying milk at 2 3 different places. They are not only supplying to cooperative, they will also be supplying to the private dairies, or to some some big dairies in the city and all that. So those private milk plants, they agreed to procure the milk on the condition of deferred payment. Those milk plants agree to procure milk on the condition of deferred payments. Means if you can supply the milk, otherwise it's a very kind of a cashing enterprise. Just to supply the milk, they will give you the payment immediately. But in that case, they say that you supply the milk, but we will make the payment maybe in 1 week time or 2 weeks time. While other, some private dairies, they started to practice a weekly milk holiday. They started to practice a weekly milk holiday, that is no milk collection on it on that particular day. Some days they have decided that on that particular day they will not be making any milk collection. Okay, so this type of it was largely done by the private milk plants. So this led to the diversion of milk toward the milk cooperatives. As I said, their supply has increased, but at the same time demand was not coming through in that way. So this has, even at the cooperative level, it has resulted in the subdued milk prices. Subdued milk prices means even the prices at the cooperatives, they have to be reduced to some extent. They have also to lower down their prices to pay to the milk producers. For example, the milk fed in Punjab, they had to reduce the procurement rate by 3 liter, 3 rupees 3 per liter for cow milk, and rupees 4.5 per liter for the buffalo milk during the COVID-19. So this was the situation which this largely comes through the excess supply of the milk. Okay, but still the cooperatives, they were able, this cooperative system, they performed reasonably well. They performed well as compared to the milk vendors or traditional local dairies or unorganized markets. These cooperatives, they have performed reasonably well, and it was largely on account of the fact that they converted additional milk, whatever the milk they were receiving, they converted it into the skimmed milk powder and ghee. And also you might have seen that milk fed has also started door delivery of milk, and door to door delivery of the milk and milk products in order to release the pressure of the excess supply. And we have seen it that vendor is coming in the morning, and sometimes they were coming quite early in the morning, and we used to miss him. We have to get some milk. because we were not getting the milk from any other source, and people used to take even the phone number of that van wala, that just give you, even if someone misses, they will travel some distance and they will stop him and they will get the required quantity of milk from uh, that milk retailer. The cost of producing milk and milk production has gone up because of obvious reasons, that due to the increase in feed cost, and also the transportation of grain fodder as well as wheat husk is also affected due to the lockdown, because they were not able to get the supply of the grain fodder and wheat husk in that proportion as it has to be required. So the cost of milk and milk production has gone up, and also the disruption of the logistic is much more severe much more severe problem in the livestock sector than the crop sector, because in case of a cropping, there is some kind of a very small window exists of delaying some activity, maybe some irrigation or some other activity, some fertilizer. You have very small window of postponing of those small activities, but this is not possible in case of the rearing of cows or buffaloes, as shortage of feed will likely to lead to the starvation and death of the milch animal. So there is no chance of any, you cannot delay of feeding to the animals. You have to provide green fodder, husk, and all those concentrates and all that, those kind of things you actually require. So disruption of the logistic has much more impact on the livestock than that impact on the crop sector. And also this problem is also accumulated, also compounded on the count of the fact that dairy animals have very short production cycle, and animals require feed on day-to-day basis to complete their cycle. They always need whatever feed is required, and if you have to get the milk for the next day, you have to feed them, you have to take care of them. Only then you will be able to complete the production cycle of the milk. So during the period of COVID-19, there was the huge impact on the cost of milk production as well as the logistics. They were have disrupted, which have a much more impact on the livestock sector than that on the crop sector. This is also the one of the very visible impact of the COVID-19 on the dairy sector. And one of the most significant impact of this was the increase or rise in the animal health and their productivity issues. The number of issues related to animal health and productivity, they were many more during that period of lockdown. And already we know that in a country like India, we have the very limited number of animal healthcare facilities, which are very limited, and these are also affected at several places due to the lockdown. As we know that it has restricted the movement of the veterinary doctors, and also the veterinary medicines and services, they were also impacted because of the lockdown, because of already we know that the services, they are very limited, and possibly you may be knowing much more than me the availability of the veterinary doctor per village or at the per district level, what is the average. So this was also badly impacted. And even during the COVID-19, though the services of veterinary doctors, they came under the essential services, that they will not be disturbed. Their activities has to be continued during that period of time. But they also do not operate. Doctors also do not operate as they has to operate in the crop, like in the pre-COVID period, for the fear of the COVID-19. They also do not did their best. They are not able to contribute in that way, because as a human nature, everyone afraid of the effect of the virus, the COVID-19. So those services, they were also disrupted from that point of view. And importantly, another point which is also important to look into, that whatever resources were expenditure has to be made towards the infrastructure or development of animal health or healthcare facilities, those funds or those resources, they were diverted by the government for the prevention, for diagnostic, and for the minimization of the COVID-19 impact. There obviously in the economy, when such kind of pandemic comes, there will be change in the priorities of the government. So instead of making the development for the dairy sector and all that, there was the shift in the resources toward the COVID-19. So this has actually raised very serious concerns in terms of the adverse impacts of on the health and productivity level of the dairy animals during the COVID-19. So there was the multiple impacts on of the COVID-19 on dairy sector, not only with respect to sale, with respect to the animal health and productivity issues. And also another point which I wish to add here, and also as a part of our own study, we found that why the veterinary services and technical services, they are much considered much more important. So as our own study, one of my PhD student, and which we subsequently published one paper, we found that provisions of veterinary service and technical services provided by the cooperatives, particularly in Punjab, like milk fed to the milk producers, they are turned out to be one of the major reasons for their association with the milk fed. Means most of the farmers, they associate with the cooperatives on the count of the fact that they are getting the veterinary services and technical services from the cooperative. So in such a situation where the veterinary services and technical services, they are affected because of the situation like COVID-19, and already the cooperatives, they in that, from that perspective, they are doing much better as compared to the other ones. So it was most likely that therefore it is likely that the effects of COVID-19 on animal health and their milk productivity, they are relatively low, they are a little less among the cooperative farm or cooperative milk producers than those who are selling milk to the local markets or other traditional channels, due to the better access to the veterinaries and technical services. So this is what the point which I make to mention, that the cooperative here also, with respect to, not only with respect to procurement, but also with respect to the technical services or veterinary service, they did much better as compared to the other ones which are selling to the local markets. And also another important point which you have to possibly the last impact of this COVID-19 on the dairy industry or the milk, particular milk producer, is with respect to the interlinked credit transactions. Okay, this actually means, before I explain it, I just as a, either as a milk producer or as a farmer. Okay, what as a milk producer, as a farmer, we are doing, we are converting certain agri inputs or dairy inputs into the output. Like in case of dairy, we are producing milk using certain inputs. Okay, so now to purchase those inputs, we are buying those inputs from the market. There are certain informal money lenders are there, or some traders are there, from whom we are getting some certain amount of money on credit to do our day-to-day operations. And also this, as this dairy is conducted as a complementary activity with the crop production. Dairy is the only occupation which provides the regular flow of cash income. So this type of a cash income, it not only helps to the milk producer to buy the crop inputs, animal feed, but it also helps to resettle the credit which he has taken from the informal and the formal markets. Informal mean money lender, and all the formal mean from banks, from cooperative society, from where he has taken money, because he, from the dairying, he is getting the regular supply, regular flow of the cash, and he was able to resettle his transaction with respect to money which he has made in the formal and informal credit markets. So this was the impact. So we also found that there is another study by just like Singh, Kaur and Kingra, which reveal that so if there is the higher income from the dairying, so there will be lesser the extent of the indebtedness among the farmers. And we, just like in the states like Punjab, where many of you as a student, many may belong to the Punjab, you will find that there are the agriculture crisis which is going on in the state, and within that it is found that the dairying as a occupation, it helps to reduce the extent of those farmers who are having higher income from the dairying. They are, the extent of indebtedness is quite less in those farmers. So in that case also, this also corroborates the other point which I mentioned, that because they are getting regular uh, flow of cash income, so they are able to settle their credit whatever they have taken from the market. So because of this COVID-19, due to the low price for the milk, which they started to get effect on the milk productivity also, I mentioned lack of procurement, available of animal feed, and lack of veterinary services during lockdown. Their impact was that there is not only the reduction in the income from dairying, but also that regularity of the income, the regularity with which they are getting the income, that was also disturbed. The regularity of the income was also disturbed, as a result of which the milk producers, they were not able to pay or clear off their dues, their whatever they have get from some credit from the informal and formal market, they were not able to clear their dues. So this has a huge impact on the not only reduction in income but also the regularity of the income, because it has a huge bearing on the different aspects of the dairy or milk production in the country. So in the last then having discussing those kind of impacts of COVID-19 on dairy structure, so what are the solutions for that? Can we do something in such a situation? Although we know that the situation like COVID-19 pandemic, it doesn't come quite often. It is, takes a long time to maybe in some one form or the other form it can come, but we have to uh, plan in such a way that we can counter such a situation in the time to come. So one thing which can be done through during this situation is to create kind of a local milk grids, just like we have electricity grids and all that, and there if the access supply of electricity and reduction of the supply of electricity, they can be maintained. Similarly, like those kind of milk grids and linking those grids to the vendors, some kind of a big organized dairies or processors in the state, it can help to dispose of the excess supply of the milk. And also we know that most of the states, even the adjoining states, they have their own cooperative system, their own this milk distribution system, even that certain kind of tie up with the adjoining states which are largely milk deficient. Just like take the example of Jammu Kashmir or adjoining state like Rajasthan, there's some kind of a collaboration during those periods. It can help to release the supply of the excess pressure of the milk, even when the demand is not coming in that way. That kind of a supply through the mass coverage of the population, a certain kind of excess of supply can be reduced. So this will help to clear the excess supply of milk during such a situation, and also will help the milk producers to get the fair price to good price during that period, rather than the depressed price or in that case. So is one thing that can be done is through the creation of the this local milk grids. And also at the same point of time, because I started differently in the very beginning, and I probably came after 15-20 minutes late after the discussion of the first part, I came to the COVID-19. The reason to come initially explain the dairy structure of in India was to deal something with the cooperative system. There is need to strengthen and expand the capacity of the cooperative plants, private plants, or some producer companies, they are also coming, they are also entering into that. So through easy financing, although certain government agencies are there which are financing them in a big way, cooperative banks and certain other lending agencies like NABARD, they can help in such a situation to meet the working capital requirement of the dairy plants and to improve their efficiency. In such a situation, once we are able to increase their operational capacity, so we are able to take care of the situation of COVID-19 like situation. Whenever even we have the access of the milk, it can be handled through those kind of the backup which we could generate through the strengthening and expanding first capacities of these cooperatives. And also I mentioned there are certain milk producer companies, they are also the government is promoting them. They can play a much greater role during the period of COVID-19, and they are doing it well. They are more or less working on the cooperative system. Only thing is the ownership is largely private in those things, but it largely works on the cooperative system. This is another topic of discussion which one has to look into, the role of milk producer companies and all that. So they can also be their role can be looked into. And last but not the least, the setting up of kind of a funds, separate fund like my milk price stabilization fund, kind of whenever there is some kind of a fall in the prices, so it's a kind of a support at the government, and it can really help to stabilize the income of the dairy producers, so which can in that way help to the dairy sector to revive during the post COVID-19 situation. So this is all from my side about the impact of COVID-19 on the dairy sector of India. So thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Dr. Singla. Thank you very much for your wonderful lecture. So I think you covered all the aspects of this topic, starting from the basic profile of dairy sector, and then history of cooperatives in detail, Anand model, and then you have covered impact of COVID-19 on dairy sector. And you have rightly said that the cost of milk production has increased during the COVID-19 period. It was the milk fed only who saved the dairy farmers. Otherwise, the farmers who were dependent on the milk vendors, they were totally ruined. And milk fed saved the farmer. It continuously purchased the milk. No doubt it has lowered the price, but it continued the milk procurement. Whereas I have personal experience that the other livestock sectors, for example, poultry, even under the contract farming, the contracting companies like Shobana Venki, they abandoned their poultry farmers. They did not provide any help to them during the COVID-19 period. So it was the cooperative only which saved the dairy farmers. So you have also covered the impact on interlinked credit transactions, and in the last you covered in detail the solutions to counter the impact of COVID-19. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. It was very informative lecture. So now I
handling about 70% of the total milk production. Only about 30% is handled through the cooperatives. So I hope that as and when the system is slowly coming on the track, and so they can also will be able to rebuild themselves. And there are the two. One possibility is that if they have, just as I also mentioned somewhere, that a farmer, they started to shift their supply towards the cooperatives. So once if the cooperatives, they are able to increase their operational capacity, so those kind of the new the new milk producer which are attached with the cooperatives, they can very well taken care of by them. Otherwise, already the existing system is already operating, although there are certain inefficiencies are there, which I also mentioned, like a large number of middlemen, poor quality, all those things are being. But only thing is that if we have to develop this kind of system in a very long run, over a period of time, so there has to, no doubt, there has to be increase the to build infrastructure, as well as increase the operationalized capacity of not only of the cooperatives but the private players. They also have to play a very significant role. What is any other?
Sir, the next question is by Anhad. Government won't host dairy sector by employing modern technology from other countries. But this technology cost more due to custom duty or tax, as it is almost double, triple the price of the product. Why don't the government decrease the tax on these products?
No, no doubt. The government is doing on its part certain, and obviously the technology part, the dairy technology part. You people are already expert in that about that what technology can be applied to to build the infrastructure or to increase the operationalized capacity. But as far as the limited information that I have, just like the National Dairy Development Board, they are infusing lot of finance to increase the operational capacity and to get those modern equipments being imported from the other countries to increase the capacity. But what about the custom duty and tax? So one has to actually look into what is the existing slab and how it can be reduced. That part possibly one has to look into. I'm not much familiar with that part.
So the next question is, in this pandemic, some reports stated that liquid milk sales did boost, but the dairy product demand did reduce. How would the plants manage the employees in this case?
See, again, the employability, as far as the employability is concerned within the cooperatives, I'm of the opinion that the cooperatives, they are very well taken care of the employability factor as well. But it was the situation was quite opposite, particularly the case of private dairies or just like some big dairies where the people, they were employed on the basis of the volume or scale of the operation of the milk handle. So as and when they feel that there is the business is not operating in that way, obviously they will fire some of those employees. But I hope so that once the situation improves, so it may create the employability not only within the cooperative sector as well as the private sector, but dairy itself is such occupation that even at their own level, the milk producer, they can create a lot of employment opportunities.
Sir, next question is, due to pandemic, the milk and other milk prices has shooted, and now when the pandemic will be over, is there any chance that their prices will go normal or they will remain the same?
It's a very, very good question. Yeah. So, as far as my experience is concerned, once a price it comes to a higher level, then coming back to that normal price is not that easy. But still, in case of milk, particularly, the people, because of the awareness about the quality of the milk products and all that, even people in middle class segment, they are willing to even pay a little bit higher price for to buy those products. But I fear that the prices, it will take some more time to stabilize prices. But meanwhile, once it will take time, meanwhile during that period of time, the cost of production will again go up. So the chances are not really in that way that the prices will come normal very soon, particularly for dairy and dairy products.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I think all the queries have been solved.